Good morning, Dishant.
Morning, sir.
So, I think today is a unique session for us, largely because we are going to discuss how we work, in our office. It's kind of a transparent discussion that how actually we apply AI tools in delivering work for our clients and delivering work for ourselves as a team, how we are performing, what things we do differently right now than what we were doing just 6 months back, and how much of an efficiency gain that we have achieved over, just using AI tools for delivering our deliverables. So, briefly, just introduce yourself and then we can take the discussion forward.
Yes, so I am Dishant Jain and I have joined KPC in February 2023 and it has been since 1 year. I have joined this organization and I passed in November 22 my CA intermediate and I work in the consultancy department alongside you and we give deliverables to different levels of management in our clientele and so we give them the consulting they whatever they want, whatever their requirement is.
Great. So, uh, I am now a regular on this, so I'll just skip my introduction. Let's start with this area AI.
Yes.
It has become a buzzword. See, if you look at right now, what are the buzzwords that industry is grappling with? One is AI, one is sustainability and ESG,
Yes.
and I think these two are such buzzwords that everybody is talking about it. So today, what we want to discuss, right? I have as much to add as you would have, because this is so passionately attached to me that adapting AI tech in practice is something also I am so passionate about. So we'll have a very interesting two-way conversation today. So let's start with one thing that we are not going to discuss about, which is whether AI is
Yes.
going to take over your job or not. Because
Everybody is worried.
everybody is worried, but I think that the human race has been at a place where things have come, tech has come. Just look at how accounting as a profession was in the 60s. Just the invention of the calculator was considered that now mathematical calculations go away. Similarly, from calculators we went to Excel.
Excel.
Excel came in, Excel was there, and then Excel now kind of does so many things that earlier we used to take, I think, days of time to just reconcile. So all of that put together, I don't think that accountants or us as knowledge people would go out of business. It would just be that how differently we start doing things,
Yes.
and that's what I understand. So I don't think right now that we should also discuss whether AI is going to take your job or not. But yes, obviously an AI enabled accountant will definitely take the job of a AI disabled accountant, kind of.
Yes.
Today, if I were to look at any business, if a person doesn't use ERP for accounting, you know, and maintains physical books of account, largely it's very difficult for a physical writing accountant to get a job today. But yeah, if you know Tally, if you know spreadsheets, largely you'll be there.
Definitely.
So let's keep our discussion focused on how we are leveraging AI in our practice and how others can learn from it or maybe add to it once we can share our thoughts and the way we do it. But yeah, obviously people would possibly do it better because they may be techies and we are like accounting techies and otherwise also. And largely what we do right now is not only focused to the accounting profession, but also any office in general can work on these principles. So let's start with getting your views on how you know AI helps in getting things done efficiently and effectively.
So yeah, definitely AI helps our things done efficiently. I would say effectively would depend on whether how you use it because sometimes AI will regenerate the answers or regenerate the same things again and again and you will be not getting the answers you would want from it. But if we keep on focus on the efficiency part, definitely if we see whether a human being is doing the things in 3-4 hours, it will may complete in 15 minutes, 30 minutes. So efficiency part is definitely true, and effectiveness, it depends on how you use it.
I think experience should be the biggest
Yes, how,
factor to get effectiveness out of AI. Because what I've understood is that earlier our prompt engineering was also, kind of very novice,
yes,
and now we have kind of expert
yes,
knowledge in just prompt engineering, and that helps us a lot in getting the desired output. So effectiveness is a function of experience, I would say, and obviously efficiency is a no brainer because that kind of just reduces time on so many things that we do.
so human errors and all are also being eliminated from the process in terms of
True, true.
efficiency.
And what has also happened, I had read a tweet once some time back, which I had also shared, that AI is increasingly making humans realize that how many things that we did were redundant.
Yes,
Like if we were to look at a very simple example of, downsizing. If there is just some content you have written, right? You have written a report and you have written a lot of things. Say you have done a 3-page analysis of a particular study,
study, yes,
and then you submit it to your senior, and your senior says that it's good, but it's too long. Cut it to one third. Now, without AI, you would have to do the entire thing in a very, again, rewriting the sentences, rewording them, doing grammatical alterations, double checking what is repetition in your content. All of that thing just goes directly to AI, and AI can summarize extremely well. So I don't think that I've ever come across a problem with AI summarizing ineffectively. At least to that extent, it is like a no-brainer to summarize content. So, which tools are we using in office?
so we don't use many of them, but one of them, the favorite of all of them, chat gpt. And alongside we have also used the mid journey. It's not a different mid altogether different AI, but it is a channel in the Telegram, and from them you can use from them it can be used for images.
Hmm.
So you have a vision that I want such type of image, but you have seen, but you are not getting that type of image. You are not satisfied with the images you already have, or you have get through the Googles. So from Midjourney, you can get the image you are hoping to get. So you can get describe the image, what it is, what it will have, and how it will have, and from them give it a prompt, and you can get the image you want. And different types of image, it also gives different versions of image. It was just mind blowing that it gives different of versions, and you can select one version, refine it, and you can also change it however you want. And it was just amazing how it creates an image from just a text.
I know AI just does such wonderful things, right? And I know Midjourney, I've recommended it so many of my clients, that uh, you actually need to experience it to just know the capabilities of what AI is, handling right now and what it is capable of delivering. So somewhere Midjourney has been a good learning experience just to get a sense of AI. In our practice, it is not that useful, but yeah, it obviously helps us in creating better presentations
Yes,
because images speak, right?
yes,
And getting a customized image, you can also put it the color, then branding helps, and you don't have that huge investment to make for getting those images. And naturally, as you have those images which are very, very, specific to the requirement, it just is
yes,
mind-boggling that you can get an exact image of what you want to describe in the presentation that goes with the context, and you don't really need to go around it. So I think let's more focus on Chat GPT today because I think the capabilities with generative AI and Chat GPT itself is so spectacular and it's free. at the moment.
at them.
So at least I would say that though we use paid subscription, but at least the free subscription is something that is still commendable, right? So we'll focus more on the free part of it so that whosoever wants to adopt ChatGPT in their
It can
practice or in
easily.
their way of doing work, they can kind of get a good sense out of it. So let's take one example. So creativity is a part in every field that is required, right? You do the same thing again and again, but you need to kind of innovate something down the road in getting the same thing done in a better manner. So how do you kind of think that chat GPT or generative AI as such allows you to be more creative?
So for the creative part, it no one can really replace human mind is already so creative that it has created AI. But for normal creativity, we can definitely use an AI. For creativity, for which I have used in presentations. I have used so many times to describe a full page of summary into such a creativity that who are the presentees, they are able to understand more properly and more in the context. So in the creativity part, we can get a normal creativity out of it, but for that also you will have to really focus on the prompt.
Hmm.
If you give a one line prompt, he will give you a one line answer.
Yeah.
So you have to describe the whole situation or the whole context for the prompt, and then it will give so many different ideas for the same thing you would have done in a very simpler manner.
Hmm.
So it is very much important to focus on the prompt, give it a context, so it can also generate ideas. So like a human mind, it also needs some context to get some ideas.
Yeah, and I think, but once given the context, it just gives phenomenal result.
Yes.
And again, that brings us to what all things that we kind of consider Chat GPT to be very useful in our practice. I'll just give my context to it slightly. That if we look at the traditional areas of practice, the audits, the tax, the internal audits and stuff, where everything is primarily spreadsheet driven.
Yes.
We work into consulting, so we still have some spreadsheets, but a lot of it is kind of uh, all intellectual work other than the spreadsheet.
Spread.
But where it's all spreadsheet driven, do you think spreadsheet data crunching, number crunching, and then how does AI work for the traditional areas of practice, which is say audit, where you have analysis of spreadsheet information, and internal audit, where you have large data dumps and you are analyzing it, and how does generative AI, particularly Chat GPT, come into picture for those areas? Do you have some views on it?
Yes, yes. So, for the traditional areas of practice, it was more before it was like that I have to complete this, so will have to focus on the spreadsheets, and they are not able to analyze or get their own opinions on the things they see on the in the sheets.
Hmm.
So they were already so much busy and so much data was there, so they have to refine it and filter it and use it for their own analysis. But before that, the time limit would come across. So basically it was like I'm more I'm not able to complete the already word I have been given, and how would I do the analysis afterwards? So I was just going across the spreadsheets, but with the AI, if you give the data and all, then you can get the refined part from the AI only, and you can more focus on analysis. Sorry. So you can more focus on analysis. So I think that is an important part, and analysis can also be done by an AI, but it would be very limited, and where it comes your own mind that you will have to understand. It has given you the data, it has given you the pointers of where you should focus on, then you will be really be able to give the consulting which is required.
True. But see, my take on this, for our practice areas, which is audit, tax, internal audit, and all the other things, a lot of it would focus primarily on the capabilities of Microsoft Office apps. If I have gone through the launch videos of Copilot and stuff, and then I also inquired about the enterprise pricing for Copilot, it is prohibitive at the moment because the requirement that Copilot has is a minimum number of licenses, right? For one person, it's still possible. If I have an home account, like if I use a Microsoft, we use Microsoft Enterprise account.
Yes.
But had we been using Microsoft Home account, or if there is a solopreneur, right, single person who is using a Microsoft Home or a family plan, they can upgrade to Copilot Pro for 2,000 rupees a month. Now, for 2000 rupees a month, you get capabilities which are inbuilt into Microsoft Office apps. And those capabilities are you first prepare. So, just like any sketch, right? You use notes. We
Yes.
first prepare notes, right? Now, if you use a digital note taking app like OneNote, which is the Microsoft app, you take notes in that app. Then, possibly, what is the next step is that you brainstorm with the team. That brainstorming might happen in a Word document. So you have brainstormed with the team, you have captured all your notes and information in the Word document. Now you have these two files, which are your base files or the source files, which actually contain your ideas, right? Now you have been asked that prepare a presentation based on whatever these two things are. What Copilot Pro does is it can learn from the template that you have, right? So if you have a design guide for your organization, you have a template file.
Yes.
So you can obviously put it into Copilot Pro that see this is our template file. These are the source files and this is the end output that is required. And you just go give that prompt to Copilot Pro in within Microsoft PowerPoint. So they have that feature there and it will generate the entire PPT for you, entire PPT for you with graphics, designs, animation, content, summaries, and even speaker notes, which means that they'll summarize bullets for the PowerPoint design depending on how you want to design it, and then they'll put the content which you had in your Microsoft document as speaker notes for the speaker to kind of get there. So this kind of eliminates the biggest hurdle today everyone faces of creating PowerPoint presentations because that takes a lot of time and it requires a lot of skill today also to create good looking PowerPoint presentations. So I think that big hurdle, at least for smaller organizations, just goes away tremendously. And the capabilities are immense because graphics are also generated, just like what Midjourney does.
Yeah.
Copilot Pro also takes the same content background and puts images very contextual to your information and puts it in a PowerPoint. Now, 2000 rupees a month, peanuts, I would say, for one person. But the thing is, for enterprise, they need at least 300 licenses.
Oh.
So that kind of just puts it in a range where it's a very large enterprise that would possibly go for that kind of a subscription. Plus, in any organization, I don't think everybody needs a PPT capability or AI capabilities because only this part of it, the PPT generation skills, are very specific to the Microsoft ecosystem, and some Excel based, I would say that's kind of reasonably gimmicky, but yeah, that's also good to have and then build on it obviously in the long run. But at present, what I feel is that PPT skill itself is something which is a you know great feature, but spending for 300 user licenses, and that's very much subjective because in any larger organization also I don't think 300 people would need the PPT skills. That would be limited to a smaller subsection.
It requires on the front end. So
Yeah. Plus, what happens is that the rest of the AI capabilities are available for free as of now.
Yeah.
So anybody who would do a cost benefit analysis would possibly stop there. But what I also increasingly feel from this is that AI is going to take over every application that you kind of work with. The way you use applications are already solving a lot of problems. But still, there are so many analytical steps or, procedural steps that you need to perform to get some information out of it. All of those steps, which sometimes we feel it's mindless to do this again and again, So all of that would possibly be automated through in-app built AI, which would naturally become a part of those tools because there would be substitutes which would kind of have those features inbuilt. So,
Yeah.
for example, if today, if we look at Microsoft Office, right, it comes with this Copilot feature and that's completely separately packaged and a paid product. Tomorrow, let's say Open Office or Google Suite, they come up with the same features, but they offer it as a part of their overall subscription, like the G Suite subscription that is there, or the Office 365 subscription which is there. And now the competition would kind of bring these things into similar apps, right?
Yes.
Because I'll just put my views also on the recent Samsung phone launch, S24 Ultra, that has been launched with inbuilt AI. Now, for every other company, because see, if you visit a web page, right, and the world is actually subject to decreased attention spans. So, if I visit a web page and I actually want to read the content, but the content is very long, then AI within Samsung's features
Feature.
now just says that I'll summarize this. I don't have to actually go someplace else, copy the content, paste it into Chat GPT, get content summary. So for me, the next thing obviously would be in-app AI, which would naturally be the way people would start looking at things. And every now and then alternates would come in because if I'm using Microsoft Office today, because I've been using it for so long, right? It's very good. But see, tomorrow, if it doesn't give me AI features in a cost effective manner, which itself is a big dilemma whether it is cost effective or not and planet sustainability or not. But yeah, if organizations do not give the same level of services that others are offering, then naturally shifting would happen very fast because
Yes.
people would look at convenience rather than any loyalty largely towards any
Because on a long
app.
term, it comes in hand if you are not updating your project apps with the environment, then
True.
you may get left behind. And we have seen so many times in the history, and it will get repeated if
Yeah.
you don't update your apps. And AI is a very much needed update. If your competitors are doing it, you will have to do it.
As I told, as I keep telling, right, in the office, had I been 20 right now with all the spare time like you guys, life would have been so much different. AI tools, right now, sky is the limit. Even for learning, I would say one of the biggest applications that I would possibly have used AI had I been your age would be to put it into learning. Like how would I possibly learn, right? I'll give you two examples how I might have used it if I had been your age. One would be my theory subjects,
Yeah.
like crazy subjects. So I possibly still we don't have open books, so we have to memorize things. So how can AI come up with patterns for us to memorize things? So at least those ideas can come from Chat GPT. I would have possibly used it for learning just any skill. Like I have been a lifelong learner of PowerPoint. So now today I know PowerPoint reasonably well. But immediately I that entire investment of my efforts over the last 10, 12 years of learning PowerPoint seems superficial and redundant because AI would do a better job at creating those PPTs instantly, right? It is so that learning is replaceable with 2000 rupees a month, and that 2000 rupees a month is just peanuts against those 10 years of investment that you have put into learning a skill. So then you have to continuously upskill yourself. Now you have to actually move into AI upskilling. Then you now need to know what works and what doesn't work, and
What does it?
all of that has to be a smart decision to kind of move forward with. But at least using AI into everything kind of helps a lot. So let's focus on the things that we at our office work on with AI. So, what are the places where we have seen application of generative AI? I'm just limiting ourselves to generative AI. There's so many types of AI, but we are just looking at generative AI is based on LLMs.
So, in our office, we have used across different fields, but if to list some of them, I will start with the terms and agreements, the agreement writing. So, if you don't have a template, you will have to build it from a scratch. It will be really difficult to remember each and every term and agreement. You will have to refer many agreements and add these points in your agreement. So it was really helpful for me in that area for giving me a basic template, or had I asked what I need, he will give me the entire agreement and I will just have to refine it or change it according to my requirement, and it will really be helpful for the agreement writing. And I just have to give my terms of agreement and it will create the whole agreement, and it will really help in agreement writing. So apart from that, then I think it will be very much important in the presentations. There are many word files and excels, but nobody sees that. It always comes on the PPT. So all the data you have to get from the excels and word files into the PPT for better presentation. So in presentation writing also, what type of slides, how many slides, how to summarize the whole data and into a PPT for the understanding of the user. So it helped in that also. And sometimes I didn't understood any data. So like what is this requirement of the data, or why is it important to analyze it? It will be, I will give it to the AI, and it will just describe me as what the data is, how it can be used, and then I will do the analysis based on the information I get from the AI. So for the PPTs and agreements, it was really helpful for me. And apart from them, for the day to day work, I use them accordingly.
So I'll give you my content to it, right? From my perspective, how I am looking at it across teams. If I were to look at my admin team, right? Wherever there are communication requirements. For example, if there's a AMC renewal for air conditioners, and there needs to be certain communication to be done with that vendor, that
Yeah.
this is how our expectations are. Earlier, that admin team is kind of a mid-skilled team, so they may not have those, they may be very good and well skilled at everything but communication.
Yes.
And that communication gap is completely bridged by AI, because even if they write a broken sentence and explain even in a broken fashion to AI that what they want to actually communicate, right? Like literal translation of Gujarati to English in the prompt, AI will give them a perfectly drafted communication for them to forward it to the outside world. So, one, language now does not remain a barrier for written communication, which I would say for every mid level and low level skilled people, that's just phenomenal. For HR teams, I have seen all of our internal communication, like be it the KPC Premier League communication, or be it the offsite communication, all that which is launched on Zoho People, it comes from ChatGPT, right?
Yes.
Because now everybody knows that this all is kind of the work that even if we were to do it, we wouldn't do it so good. Plus, when you put social media prompts, right, ChatGPT just comes in with emojis.
Yes.
I don't know, but yeah, obviously people have been. But now I've been such a user of ChatGPT that I can immediately make out, whether this is human written or this is
AI.
ChatGPT written. So a very, very uh, we are experienced at it, that's why. But then even with our experience, at least what I have come to know is that I can have ChatGPT generate such prompts that do not look ChatGPT generated. Whereas if you put a normal prompt and normal output, it will obviously come out as if I can make out it's a ChatGPT
Yes.
generated.
If like we are using, the other peoples are also using it.
True.
the prompt we are giving, it may be possible that the same prompt or the similar prompt is
Others are
also driven in, and the answer will be the same, as it is not a different person. There is
true.
it is it
It's
will
the
give
same
the same
model. It's
answer.
just kind of doing the alterations based on
Yes.
the inputs. The third field where I have seen a lot of this taking into action is content writing.
Yes.
I don't think anybody now faces a content gap. But at the same time, what I've seen, if I am a LinkedIn user, regular LinkedIn user, so I can immediately make from the post that this is AI generated, this is AI generated, this is AI generated, this is something which is natural. It looks unattractive, but it has more value. I would personally say that for social media marketing, if you kind of put, you know, uh, blindly AI, then social media platforms also are going to capture that this is because if I can make it as a human mind, then an algorithm can be developed on how all of this which is AI generated and all of this which is kind of naturally typed content that might make more sense to push even on social media because nobody wants to actually get AI content everywhere.
You said about LinkedIn, like I was not a I am a novice in the LinkedIn. I have really come across right now. So in LinkedIn, I have seen such a long post about things saying it. I was like, who reads it?
Yeah,
So much, and it is not also like that it has some facts or anything. It is just some
beating around the bush again and again and again at the same thing and using emojis in between because chat gpt has put those emojis in there, 4-line paragraphs, chat gpt standard, so all of that is kind of just so typical and it doesn't work. The other area that I have seen, we get a lot of articleship reference interviews and emails that come in, and you won't believe I have seen at least 70% of the emails this time coming from ChatGPT.
oh God.
Everybody, even for application, they have that. But they see, I'll say that even your basic intelligence has to be tested and checked in it because see what I I'll give this because this is very recent. In one email, it was instead of aspiring, it was written inspire. Now it's a very fine difference, right? Because the words sound similar. But AI, because you mentioned that I am an inspiring CA, instead of you had to mention I'm an aspiring CA, ChatGPT understood you are inspiring. So that continues into the output that it gives, right?
Yes.
And that is your personal problem. Means that is your basic level of knowledge and intelligence that you need to apply while doing prompt engineering. You can't just blindly rely that ChatGPT will correct you from inspiring to aspiring.
Yes.
The second thing that I kind of find into ChatGPT, right? The three downfalls to avoid. One is prompt. You have to give a very well engineered prompt. Plus, you have to keep your mind active at that time, because then you are going to as such shut off your mind. It will do the generation, but at the time of giving the prompt, you can't just shut off your mind. Two, the word fostering. I have seen n number of chat GPT prompts where it uses the word fostering and it loves the word fostering. So if I read fostering as a word, my antennas go up that this kind of is a chat GPT. And there are similarly so many other keywords that chat GPT repeats.
Yes. I have
So
also seen.
that kind of makes it and gives it away that this is a chat GPT prompt. And the third thing that I notice is US English, right? If you are actually making a presentation in India, you follow UK English. So you don't use the Z's, you use the S.
S.
So Z's coming into your drafting give it away that this is ChatGPT.
ChatGPT.
So I think these three I have kind of come to know. Obviously, you can change the language of ChatGPT in a prompt, generate in UK English and India English. So all of that, but that comes with experience. So I think these 3 points are key for anyone who wants to just do prompt engineering and wants to learn from our experience.
So back to one point. that I forgot to mention. I have learned macros from the chat GPT so well.
I was going to come to it. That yeah, go on.
So at first I was from when I come into the articleship where the Excel was really new. We have studied in the computer classes, but yeah, we know that we don't.
Yeah, yeah. So
actually.
that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. So when I really came across to me, so when I started using it was really difficult for me to write the formulas, and it was like I'm doing the same thing again and again and again. I was making 3 to 4 reconciliations in a day for the same thing, and it would still not get matched. So I thought, and you also said that you should use AI, or how you would redundant work would be reduced. So I started using AI, and it would just give me the macro. I would just split it, and the reconciliation would be done more. I would have to still do the
Yeah, yeah.
normal errors, but apart from that, the macros were like I'm able to use macros. So many of them are like, how do you use macros? It's like a whole code writing. I'm
True.
like, I don't do the code writing. I would just give it to the AI. It will provide me with the code, and I will insert it in the macro, and it will be very useful for me. And it has been really useful for me.
So I think our entire office is macro enabled
Macro
thanks
enabled,
to
yes.
Chat GPT. And I remember we had one Saturday training session on this also, right?
Yes.
How to kind of put macros into Excel using Chat GPT, and a lot of our processes have also been automated using macros, and a lot of efficiency has improved on all those fronts. Now that's good use of AI, though all the tools existed before also.
Yeah.
But the only thing that how do you use VBA and how do you use macros and all of that, this just so overwhelming that nobody would start.
Yes.
And everybody would feel that it's so complicated, it's for the elite, it's for the techies. And now me and you can possibly use macros in an Excel file and do so many things which otherwise would require hours and hours of processing.
Yeah.
So I think that's phenomenal. Repetitive use of, once you have used AI and then you're putting it into repetitive action. Plus the second thing is that the generation itself, like had we programmed VBA, I don't know. It would have taken, like just you mentioned, 3 iterations for one simple reconciliation VBA to be written, and that too not completely getting to it at the end of the day.
Yes.
And at the same time, the next morning you come in, give it to Chat GPT, and by 1 hour's time you are through with that and done. So
Yeah.
I think
Whole day
it's
of work is done in
yes,
just
and I think that macro based learning of Chat GPT is a phenomenal work that we have in our office that we have done. So let's look at one more aspect. Now we are going into general areas of AI. So let's look at how does it help in beating procrastination. Like what I understand is that for you to stop achieving or from you to be stopped from achieving what you are said to, the biggest factor that comes into your enemy is procrastination. You can't
yes.
work in the direction where you actually want to work, and there are various reasons to it. But I have my theory on it. I'll share. But what's your view on how AI helps in beating procrastination?
So for procrastination, it's always like, from my understanding, what is a procrastination? You want to do something, but you are not able to, or you are not doing it. You are, you may know how to do it, but you still not doing it. So that's procrastination, and I have seen in my life so many times that I procrastinate a thing days and days back, and AI has helped, but I have not really used in for the procrastination thing. But from what I understand, it will be really helpful. As if you are set from for an example that I want to do something, and I have to do a various things based on priority types. So I can give it to ChatGPT. It can guide me how I can do it in the week, or in the time limit I
So it
have.
helps in planning.
It helps in planning. So the execution part remains the thing for me, but the planning thing, which can be a headache for someone, it can be done by AI.
True. And just then stick to the plan.
Stick to the plan,
Get
yes.
thing done. And to me, what I have understood of procrastination is that, see, everybody who wants to achieve, they know that doing only would make it
Yes.
there, right? So I wouldn't say it helps to create a mindset, because obviously mindset is from within, that you need to do it to get it. But what comes to me from AI is one important thing for us, like for me, if I am setting on something that I really want to achieve, I know that I have to work for it. But the problem that comes for us, largely people like me, is sometimes the first step is so complicated.
Yeah.
You know, the task, your vision is big, or your end result is huge, or you know that this is the end goal, but it's a huge journey towards it. How do you start the journey? You don't have that first step, right?
Yeah.
So the first step is a huge step to just get the ball rolling. Now, all all literature around this would say that, break the first step into smaller steps,
Yes.
and then have the first smallest step and take that step. Now, it requires a lot of intelligence, experience, and knowledge to just break the first step into smaller sub steps. AI helps in doing that, or at least gives you a good idea on how you could break your first step into smaller sub steps. And that's where I think AI plays a very big role in helping beat procrastination, because you can get your first step broken into smaller steps through AI. You may agree or you may not agree, but you don't have a better idea, right? Why are you using AI in the first place? If you had that idea as to what would have been the first step, then you don't need AI.
Yeah, it can be that it is giving the smaller subsets in different characteristic, but based on that you get an idea of how you can break it, and you can break it yourselves also. It will be really helpful.
Yeah, I think it can give a very good starting point of the
Yes.
breakdown. So I think that really helps a lot in this entire thing. The second thing that I think generally what AI, generative AI, can be used for is policy drafting.
Yes.
You know, wherever any organization would require policy drafting. For example, they just need a work from home policy draft.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how would HR department draft a work from home policy. Google search all of it, put all of the pieces together in a Word document, copy it, paste it into Chat GPT. These are the good things that I've liked about it. Now draft something for our organization. Now that's where I see a lot of use of generative AI, macros, phenomenal, Excel formulas.
Yes, itself.
You won't believe, but there are certain times where we get Excel files from outside, right? Our client has prepared something and shared with us, and they've used complex formulas, cube, and I don't know what all. Earlier, we used to actually consult with the client as to how this works. Now, you can just copy paste the formula, put it into Chat GPT, and make it explain me how this formula works, and it would give the entire explanation in a layman language, showing you all the steps that have been performed by the formula, and if there are any errors, you can possibly put a formula into Chat GPT and say that this is what I actually need, and this is how uh, I actually want to get information out.
From formulas, I remember one instance that in the start when I started my articleship, we look up. We now we are using like anything, but in the start it was really mind blowing that how is it working. The array, I didn't used to understand the array, like what is used for what. So it was starting for the reference, then it would be the whole table. So I didn't used to understand what is that array,
How is it
how
looking
is
up?
it doing it up. So gave it to the ChatGPT. He made me understood that how this formula works.
Yeah, so I think all of that plus, you know, when we look up when index match,
Yes.
all of those knowledge, even if you don't have, some website might have it, some
Yeah.
YouTube video also might have it, but your specific question cannot be answered by them. So if you
Yeah.
have a specific question and you put it to ChatGPT, it gives you a phenomenal answer. So I think that is definitely there. Now, there are two or three things more that I would like to discuss. First is confidentiality of data,
Yeah.
because the big problem that what we are looking at, or where we restrict the use of AI right now also, is sensitive information. Like, if I were to put information of a client on ChatGPT, that's kind of risky for both. For me
Yeah.
as a firm, because it kind of exposes me that I am putting client information into a chat GPT kind of a LLM based model, which in their terms of use is that they would review the information. They can possibly just kind of have analysis also of that
Yeah.
information done. So it's kind of very risky from the data privacy, not privacy, but the confidentiality part of it, I would say. So that's one area where I wanted to kind of just put some disclaimer for even those who are following us till now in this video and just getting it. Okay, if they want to use chat gpt, they should use it sensibly and responsibly, and not put client information with specific identifiers right there, and just exposes them to a lot of risk. The other two things that I just wanted to discuss about uh, this is, one, just very profession specific now that we are talking about that. If we were to look at, there's a recent report right from MIT, and that MIT report has mentioned that AI is not going to take away your job. Don't really worry, because I think they had come out with a 72% estimate that 72% of the jobs are actually inefficient to move to AI. I don't
Yes.
exactly recollect the number, but what I understood is that the cost of replacing those jobs with AI is far more than engaging humans to continue, allowing them to do the job. Plus, there's the entire part of it for planet insensitivity, that all of the AI uses rarest of the rarest of the precious metals of the earth, and that is where uh, there would be a lot of possibility that the rare metals would be used in this.
The
And
same, I also read the same article yesterday, and in that article particularly, it was mentioned that the AI can be used for the redundant things, yes, but for the type of things or words where vision is required, human AI cannot replace wholly for the vision work, and the human will definitely be responsible for their own work, and AI cannot possibly not replace their work, as vision is very subjective thing. It can differ from person to person, and it can not generate a one answer. So it is definitely that AI cannot just replace all of the jobs, and the human will be free for
Preet, tell me unemployed.
yeah, unemployed.
So also one more comment from the regulator, the Indian regulator NFRS chair. They had that for audit, you can't rely on AI tools, but you actually you need to do your basic groundwork. And so there, somewhere, as professionals, we need to be very uh, mindful of how we are leveraging AI, what dependencies we are putting it through, or what dependencies are we kind of relying on when we use AI as a tool. Plus, at the same time, I would say that, see, today, all accountants use spreadsheets phenomenally, right? So, if I were to take a mean of, say, 1,000 numbers, I would just put the formula in Excel, right? I wouldn't actually then validate that that mean is actually correct or not, because that's the trust that I have. It's like a calculator. If I actually put six numbers and I put a addition,
Yeah.
then I don't go and do a validation of that. So to that extent, I would obviously rely on the tool, and that's where my AI tool has to be reliable. It can't be something which can have a bug and give me something else with
Yeah.
the,
Yes.
whereas it should have, consistently and reliably given me a separate output. So I think to that extent, obviously, you have to move with time. You can't stick around saying that, okay, I will do all my calculations on my own. I'll do the mean of 1,000 numbers on my own.
Yeah, of course, we have a tool where
Yes.
if we are not trusting it, then we cannot use it. So we have to put a trust on it.
And the tool has to be so good,
Yes.
So I think that's good enough for a starting discussion on AI in our practice. You want to add anything?
So for the last thing that I would want to add is that AI is really helpful, but
But
it depends. It always comes with a but. It really depends on how you use it. So when you use it, don't shut your mind. Keep it open and use it properly and appropriately where it is needed.
true. I think that's something that I would also advise everyone to kind of use AI responsibly. Plus, at least even for your day-to-day tasks, just open your mind and use it. Just don't
Yes.
blindly put it and just blindly copy the response. Read the response at least.
Yes.
So because that's what you would have otherwise typed. So, and a user would obviously believe that you have typed this.
Type this.
And if you kind of have those square brackets, insert this here, and that remains in your final output, it kind of cuts a very sorry figure for you. So, with that, I think we'll conclude this episode 5 of KPC Conversation. And I think let's keep this going with more topics that come. And once again, thank you for joining today. And let's take feedback from our viewers. Let's see how
Yeah.
they respond. And then we can possibly do a live session of how we actually use AI in doing things at our office.
Yes. We can also ask in the comments like what type of AI you are using.
Yeah, we can learn a lot from
Yeah, we
the
can
viewers.
come across
True.
different AIs which we are not
Yeah.
aware of.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.